Welcome, viewers and listeners, across the county, across the country, across the world.
Yes, indeed.
Wherever you're hearing us or even seeing us from right now at this point, we just want to welcome you to the TTT Sports Roundup. Your one-stop spot for all your sporting need. Everything is broken down and discussed here. No stone is left unturned when it comes down to the world of sport. But before we even dive into anything at all, we have to start it the real way, the right way, and invite the presence of God to come and encamp among us. So let's join me in prayer quickly. Let's before we get it started.
Indeed.
Let us pray. Most righteous and heavenly Father, we just want to give you thanks, mighty God. We just want to glorify and magnify your name. Father God, thank you for bringing us here together in this fashion, mighty Father. Father, I give you thanks for this opportunity to speak to your people, mighty God, through the ministry of sport, mighty Father. Father, I ask of you to bless us, mighty God. Bless myself, my co-host, mighty God. Give us speeches and utterances, mighty Father, to speak over these airwaves and command them to do your glory and do your bidding, mighty Father. Father, I give you thanks for our engineer, mighty God, behind the scenes, mighty God. Give him wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, mighty God. Every knob that he pushes may be the right one. Every button that he presses may glorify you, mighty God. Thank you for this opportunity, mighty Father. Everyone who is under command of our voice right now, mighty God, we ask for a blessing to reach them, mighty God. We ask for this program to be of some comfort and some joy to them, mighty Father. In your most righteous and matchless name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Blessings.
Which is
welcome again to TTT Radio Sports Roundup, and of course, our sports program that brings you the detailed sports activities that happen locally, regionally, and internationally.
Everywhere.
And of course, I am Zayous Hamilton, and is with me is Saschin Collins. Or the erudite peer, that that brings you the insight with all sports. And we're gonna kick things off with track and field.
Right.
And of course, the big one is gonna come up in a short while, March 28th to April 1st. This is Boys and Girls Championship, and it promises to be.
It should be
a fantastic
should be a good one.
Championship. Of course, Casey and Edwin Allen are the defending champions. Casey is looking, to retain their title, but they're gonna have some stiff competition from Jamaica College, and of course the resurgence of the team from 61 Reddies Road, which is Calabar.
Men of green.
The green and black. And they say till the casket lock. Of course. It's gonna be
green and black till the casket lock. I've heard that one before. Where you guys keeping that one?
Why I tell you, it has been out there. And Idle, of course, with the likes of Ayana Reid looking to unseat.
Well poised.
The twinless Edwin
Yeah.
Allen, of course, it's gonna be a fantastic championship.
Edwin Allen feeling the pinch.
But I tell you, they're missing two major parts of the puzzle.
Yeah, those
those boots are not easy to fill.
And the chunk of points that they would have contributed prior.
Goodness,
it's hard to make that up.
It's gonna be rough. And I was listening to Mr. Corey Bennett, who is incidentally coaching both of these challengers in terms of Edwin Heidel and Calabar. I don't think that's ever happened.
He's coaching both.
He's coaching both. Has never happened in the history of Jamaica.
Interesting.
He's on the male side. They call him Superman. That is what I'm seeing, because it must be a Superman effort to coach two, contending forces in track and field in Jamaica.
Something I've learned is that it's not impossible. I've learned this
No.
while watching. There was this program that they usually air on a particular network called Leading Up to Champs.
Yes.
And they would go into the schools prior to Champs and interview and assess players and so forth.
Yes.
And it would have opened the gates for me to understand that a lot of time the head coach of the team is more of a manager than a coach.
That's correct.
Is more of a manager than a coach.
I saw that when I was at school as well, when Earl McKinley was basically conditioning the boys. He was there at times in some technical aspect, but he had some other sub people.
Right. So you have coaches for each discipline.
That is right.
So it is possible.
Yes.
It's possible.
Yes, so he's juggling his time and they call him Superman. That is what I hear the name being banted about in terms of his involvement with the team. But he's looking to unseat Edwin Allen as the girls champion. I would just see what is going to happen over this festival, March 28th, April 1st. Make a note in your calendars, and stay here, place to be at the National Stadium. Not a lot to report on track and field, just to highlight that date is actually coming up. So we're just gonna run out of that section. I'm just going to some bowling, to some cricket, and of course,
Brave place to go.
Very brave place, as you know. West Indies, we have said it on this program countlessly that West Indies cricket, if you have to love it. To watch it. It's something that's gonna get you one way or the other. You know what I mean? You love it to death, or you just say it's gonna kill you.
that is what
at the end of the day. But of course, we would have lost the first test to South Africa, I think 2-0. Some partial performance in terms of our batting. Our batting really failed us. We had some little encouraging thing on the bowling side with Zayous Josephs and Mr. Holder and stuff like that. But in terms of the batting, I think we got sticked out for under 160 on 2 occasions. And that is not going to win many test matches, of course. So we have moved on to the ODIs, and there are three ODIs that were scheduled to be played over this month of March. The first one was rained out totally without a ball being bowled. And at sports time, we are on the second of the 3 ODIs. And, I took a look at the scores, and West Indies made 335 for 8 of their 50 overs. A very encouraging performance. With the likes of Shea Hope with a captain's knock of 128. And our own Ravman Powell on 46. Nicholas Burns scored 39 runs to be amongst the runs. And at sports time, I looked at it, South Africa was 24 without loss after 3 overs. So we're going to see how that ODI goes.
How it plays out.
And then we'd have the final ODI that will come up right after this. That will be the third of them on about the 22nd. And then we're going to move into the T20s. And we have about 3 T20s that will kick off on the 25th of March, starting on the 25th of March. And that will complete our series with South Africa. I'm hoping that we will have a better showing in terms of the ODIs and the T20. T20 and the ODIs, I think, is
more preferred among the patrons. And I think some of the players as well.
Indeed.
We feel better squads in the T20s.
Yes, we feel better squads. And I think with the influx of the 2 new captain in terms of the red ball and the white ball captain in terms of Mr. Shea Hope and Ravman Powell, our own Ravman Powell, who's going to lead the T20 team. I'm looking to see a better result in terms for the West Indies. So we just want to leave it there in terms of cricket. I'll bring those scores to you on the next week in the program.
What was the date for the T20 again?
T20 kicks off on the 25th of March. That's the first of the T20. We're going to play 3 games.
Location
is still in South Africa. I'm not 100 if it's in Durban. I'm not too sure if it's all the matches will be played in one place, but I think it's all over South Africa. But we're still in South Africa in earnest. So we're going to bowl out to cricket, and then we're going to go into a little bit of football. Before we get into the JPL, there were 2 matches that were played in friendly international, if you want to call them that.
Right. Old rivalry rekindled.
Yes, old rivalry, because we have not really played a lot of football with Trinidad in recent time.
Right. Not like in the 80s and the 90s.
And the 90s and even early 2000s, we played a lot of games with Trinidad. We have not played a lot of games with Trinidad. So it was kind of welcoming to see that we would basically start our, renew that rivalry as it were. And of course, we played 2 games, and of course, the results were not not favorable. We lost the first game, 1-0 to Trinidad, and the second game at the National Stadium was drawn.
Right.
But there's a lot of things to be said about the game itself and the quality. I know that is we have brought together quite a few new players, and the gelling is not there. But I'm more concerned about the facilities, Sir Saschin. Talk to us about it.
Well, if I'm being honest, my concern is mixed. It is with the squad.
Yes.
And also with the facilities and the resources on the table, as you mentioned. Let's start with the squad first.
Yes.
One, let me give Coach Hal Grimson?
Hal Grimson, yes.
Right, let me give Coach Hal Grimson.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm always saying Hal Grimson. But
Hal
Grimson, right.
Yes.
Commendations for the local inclusions, the Premier League players.
That is correct, yes.
And the use of the youngsters as well in terms of Omari Hutchinson and Dujuan Whisper. I think that was commendable. But
that is correct.
honestly speaking,
Yes.
Whisper would have had to be not given.
Yeah.
You cannot leave out arguably the greatest football prodigy I've seen in my lifetime.
Yes.
My lifetime. You know, I can only speak about my lifetime.
And I want to agree with you. In terms of schoolboy football, I think he has been the best. I would have said that I would have ranked Walter Blacker Boyd as one of the big persons there.
I've heard about Blacker
I've
Boyd.
seen him, but this guy is a little bit, I think.
The Pearl.
Yeah, the Pearl was very good. You know what I mean? At dismissing play. He played to the crowd. He played to the gallery.
Right.
But this youngster is a little above, you know, in terms of what we're thinking about, you know, in terms of skill set. Is actually, immense talent.
True. But it's like you said, they are tremendous talents, and with the likes of Omar Hutchinson, they're going to be linking up at Chelsea. Right?
Yes.
That's the story for our next half, you know, but we're just giving you that update here that, you know, they're gonna be linking up there. So that's good to get them playing together from now. I think it was a squad that I was expecting more from. I know obviously our best 11 was not on the field, right? Definitely, but I think it's a squad that I would have expected more from, especially in that second game that was drawn. I watched that game, and you know, I think we created good opportunities. Whisper looked like he could really pose some damage if you put the proper structure behind him and play him as a lone attacker.
Yes, indeed.
I think
I heard an interview, not to cut you. I heard an interview. I think Whisper was speaking on one of these programs. I'm not gonna call the name of the program, but he was saying that the Trinidad counterpart said that they marked him. You know what I mean? They cancel him out of the game, and he was smiling from ear to ear because he said that he doesn't know what they were speaking about.
No, because he played his game. But I'll tell you this. If at 17-year-old you are chosen to be marked out of a game, credit goes to you.
Yes, indeed.
Credit goes to you, man.
Yes,
an international friendly like this, if at 17-year-old you are the one they chose to say, let's isolate him, let's mark him out of the game.
Yes.
Credit goes to you.
Yes.
But I mean, I know pressure was applied to him, especially when he dropped out left. A lot of pressure was applied to him in that game. But I think it's nothing strange to him.
No,
because that's how he played the entire football season.
That's correct.
So it's nothing strange to him. Nothing strange to him.
That's correct.
I am really looking for this youngster to do some great things for Jamaican football.
Indeed.
I would be disappointed
Yes.
if this youngster did not transition into one of the greatest talents we've seen out of Jamaica.
We just have a prayer for him. To be honest with you, I've seen good talent gone a begging. I'm just hoping that he has the right mettle.
Yes.
You know what I mean? To perform, and he's strong mentally.
Right.
You know what I mean? To perform, because it's going to take big mental strength to leave from Jamaica to go into Europe like that and to make your mark and to be solid. And he's still a young man. You know what I mean? That is relatively a very young man as well.
Right. And we mentioned him going into Europe, and a lot of, I don't even want to label it as controversy, because to me there's no controversy.
No.
It's all good. But a lot of conversations have gone a big. We're going to touch on some of those things in the discussion section where people, what have been said in the mainstream media and so forth. We're going to touch on some of those, right?
Yeah.
The surfaces.
Oh, goodness.
This is something that we have been championing here for weeks and weeks. And it's just... I was mentioning it to you that I don't remember the name of the gentleman exactly.
Yes.
But there was this gentleman from Clarendon who was in the business of developing surfaces.
Yes.
And he said that, when he pitched to the JPS, they employed him at first. I think he's from somewhere in Clarendon, right? I am trying to remember him, and I am only remembering
listeners and viewers, you can help us.
Maybe you can help us.
You know what I mean? And
just leave it in the comments.
Comment section on the YouTube page. You know what I mean? If you remember that gentleman's name.
I really don't remember his name. I saw him on a program some time ago, and he was saying that, when he pitched to the JFF and so forth, and they employed him, he said that the business was so poor. And they're not investing, they're not using him up as an asset. He had to move to America, and he's over there developing pitches for academies over there. You understand? And that started here in Jamaica. It's just that we don't prioritize. We're still stuck in the corner league mentality. Set up 2 goals, set up 2 scrimmage, 2 blocks, and let's play. We're still stuck in that mentality here.
I was wondering if the talent resides here. But if you should go out into those, North Course and so on, look at those pristine golf.
Come on, man.
Golf club. And what you see in the services are immaculate. Persons are leaving from Europe, to come to play golf here.
Come on,
man. That means that the thing lies here, Saschin.
It
The
is.
talent is here.
And you're
The expertise is here.
You're seeing the products.
And we understand that football is important to the Jamaican fabric. Come on. You can get a proper surface for the guys to play on.
Track and field have came close.
Come on.
And is perhaps very, very rival it. But undoubtedly for me, football is still the leading sport in Jamaica.
Come on.
In Jamaica, maybe not the leading sport exported from Jamaica.
Yes.
Exported from Jamaica, it would be track and field.
Certainly.
But in Jamaica, football is still the leading sport. You cannot treat it like that.
Yeah, cannot.
You cannot treat it like that.
Show it some love,
Come on,
JFF and the persons, the powers that be. Come on, we have to get pictures. And this is the difficulty that I said, in watching the thing like the JPL and so on, how hard it is for me to look at the football.
Right.
Because the structure, how it looks on the television
Poor.
or looks in person is very, very poor.
The match at Stadium is, I have seen school pitches
Yes.
pretty are clean, are smoother,
Yes.
are leveler,
Oh, boy.
are greener than that.
Oh, goodness.
And I am not exaggerating.
Yes.
I have seen pitches at the schoolboy level
Much better.
much better than that.
Yeah, we have to do better, man.
We have to do better. These things market the sport. And this is a recurrent conversation that have been plaguing us over and over for years. JFFA. We need to do something.
Yes.
All right. We're not even going to spend too much time on that because it's something that we have been bringing up here week and week. We're going to leave it there. Chances are we're going to have to come back to it.
I'm sure.
We're going to leave it there.
I'm sure.
The JPL,
Yes.
the JPL have been in full swing.
Yes, indeed.
The past week we have some very interesting matches.
Yes.
And the table have reshuffled. We're gonna touch on that a bit.
Yes,
I'm just gonna give you some updates from some of the matches that would have played in match day 18.
That's correct.
Right. The first one and the first big one of them was Cavalier versus Dumble Holding. These are two table toppers, are two once table toppers.
Yes.
Right. They would have played out 3-1. 3-1 game. Cavalier taking that 3-1.
Yes, it
Dumble
did.
Holding would have lost one. Would have also lost a player. Well, no.
Cavalier both.
Cavalier.
They lost a player.
Both of
And
them lost
also,
a player.
and Dunbilla also lost a player. Yes, indeed.
It was good to see Cavalier still in winning ways after losing their leading goal scorer as well. Nicholas Hamilton, we mentioned it earlier, is now playing in Finland. Kudos to the youngsters. We wish that they go out there and develop themselves and develop Jamaica's football in the making as well. Right, so it's not that we don't want the Premier League here to develop, but it is clear that the opportunities that lie outside of Jamaica,
that's correct,
offers better growth and better development for some of these youngsters. And that is why I think a couple weeks back we were so at ends when we were realizing that quite a few of these prodigies once went out there are returning back.
Yes.
And it's not that we're discrediting the JPL, it's just that we're trying to do some investigation to find out what's causing these new players to come back.
What is causing
is it that they're not making the cut?
Influx of players to return when they're in the prime of their footballing career.
Right. Normally players return to their home domestic leagues
when
or
you're
their
on the,
boys
when you're on the
twilight.
Down. Exactly.
But they're returning in arguably their prime. So it's something of concern to us here at TTT Sports, and we'll continue to do our investigation.
We're gonna for Cavalier they have to rest on Mr. Colin Anderson. He's on 14 goals to continue the goal scoring. Wait for Cavalier.
Right. Tivoli Gardens played out a 0-0 draw with Falkland. Not much action there.
That's a disappointing result.
Right, especially for Tivoli.
Yes, for Tivoli Gardens. Because Tivoli, when I'm looking at the table, we're not gonna get tweet at the end. Sir Saschin, Tivoli is being drawn into the relegation zone. Slowly.
And Falkland it's almost as if in this match Falkland said, if I am going, I am taking you with me. It's almost they just said, all right, let's come. Both of us going down there.
Yes. We have a date.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
Montego Bay. No, my correction, listeners and viewers. Nicholas Hamilton, who is playing in Finland, is actually from Harbourview.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
My correction there. Harbourview, not Cavaliers. Right.
Yes.
Arnett Gardens and Montego Bay United would have played out a 1-0 draw. 1-0 draw. Now, in times gone, this would have been a table topper contest, a 6-pointer contest. Not so much. You know, Arnett is topping the table, but we have Mobay sitting in 9th. So it's not the fixture of old that would have spelled out, you know, a lot of rivalry and the Mobay versus the Kingston rivalry.
And something is actually happening at
Mobay. Yeah, that's true.
Of course, they have lost they have lost their coach.
Right.
The likes of Mr. His name is eluding me just now. His name is a D name. I remember his name. Donovan Duki.
Right.
He would have fallen out with the pause at Montego Bay United. And of course they have somebody new at the helm, of course. But they were just slipping. Week after week, we'd see that regression in terms of the table. They're just going down. I think they're in 9th, as you indicated before.
Yeah.
And the results have just not been pretty. So I was hoping, I was not hoping, but I was expecting Arnett Garden to actually win against Mobay United based on the form
that
they're in presently. You know, so this was almost as a mixed result, a kind of disappointing result. Because Arnett is really going up the table. I think they're at the summit just now. I expected them to put a little bit of daylight between them themselves and Cavalier.
That's true.
Are more pleasant.
Because now is the time to firmly anchor yourself, especially when you come up against these struggling sides.
That's correct.
To capitalize on these 3 points.
That's correct.
Right. Another game that would have ended in a defeat as well would have been Waterhouse. You know, who would have. I don't even want to call this one. They won the game, you know.
Yes.
But I'll tell you this. They won 3-2. They were playing Chapelton. And I saw a clip of this match. And I tell you that it wasn't a game that they dominated.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a game. It's a game that Chapelton was in this game.
Yes.
They were in this game. Right?
If any good thing to be said about Chapelton, they're really fighting.
Yes.
They have not given up the ghost. They know that they're going down, but they are not giving up the ghost. They're fighting. They're fighting.
They're in this game.
I admire their strength here, you know, because I know that things are stacked against them.
Right.
But they're still fighting hard.
Right. Another one, this was a clear defeat as well for Jamalco, who would have lost 4-0 to Mullins United.
Mullins, yes.
Prior week, Mullins would have lost 5-1, I believe, to Arnett. So this was a good bounce back for them.
Yes,
this was a very good comeback for them to get back into the table to climb.
Yes.
The final game of that round would have been Harbourview against his Humble Lion, and Harbourview would have won
I saw this game.
You saw this one?
I saw this game on a Monday night special. You know, I watched this game. It was, that this game had so much hard tackling in this game. I don't know if there's any kind of undercurrent or between Harbourview and Humble Lions, but it wasn't played in a very sporting type manner.
Right.
You know what I mean? Quite a few cards. You know what I mean? Quite a few whistles. You know what I mean? It wasn't a very high quality game. You know, it was a hardly contested game.
As is the nature of these games.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that the tackles were flying left, right, and center. The elbows
these games have the potential to develop like that.
Yeah, man. The elbows were flying. You know what I mean? It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. But Harbourview won the game. You know what I mean? It's a hard-fought game, and
I would have done good for them in terms of point standing.
Exactly.
Would have done good for them. Speaking of Harbourview, their next upcoming fixture over the weekend is going to be at Cavalier, and that's going to be a tough one there for them. So Cavalier looking to see if they can climb in this table as well and perhaps reach back up to that 3rd spot. Arnett looking to cement their position at the top, hoping to take down relegation threatened Jamalco. And then we have Mount Pleasant against Mullins United on Sunday as well. So that is looking to be a very good fixture. For Chapelton, they travel to Mobay to play against Montego Bay United there, and Tivoli Gardens will take on Humble Lion in the Monday night fixture.
Yes.
Point standing, but table standing, goal scoring, we still have Colin Anderson leading on 14. Trevante Stewart, is also tied on 14. And Fabian Reed have rapidly climbed this table into 3rd on 11 points.
Yes, he's in 11 goals.
Right.
He's double digit.
Right, his hat-trick, he would have gotten a hat-trick against Mullins United. Indeed. That would have done some wonders for him.
This must be his best scoring output.
Right, in a good while. And he's a veteran of the league.
Of course.
He's a veteran of the league, so to be still doing it at this age, Wonderful stuff from him there.
Indeed.
We're going to leave it there in terms of local football. Like Sir Hamilton said, really and truly, the highlight of the local scene was actually the 2 international played against Trinidad.
Yes.
We mentioned it earlier, kudos to Coach Hallgrimson for the local inclusions.
Yes, indeed.
I heard some persons argue that, listen, they were never going to bring in international players for a match of this nature, this that standard. But I don't really see it that way. Because I know that these youngsters are these local players who would have gotten the call up. They don't see themselves as backup or reserve as plan B.
They're going for a spot as well.
Exactly.
They're going for a spot as well. And I'm telling you, Jamaica need to get out of that old time thinking
definitely
about the youngsters not being ready. Because it's the same mentality, It's the same mentality that we're bringing over. That the youngsters are not ready. So you're going to go back for the senior players that are 29 are getting high, long in the tooth. 29, 30, 31, and saying that these are the players. And those players are, in another 3-4 years, are going to be 34 and 35.
They're out.
So listen to me. Let us just get past this. And the youngsters that would have played, this is the core of what is going to take us to another World Cup is the core of these youngsters.
Definitely. When you think about 2026, I don't think about a Maria
Mariappa is not going to be here.
I don't think
he's
about
not going to be there.
Right?
He's not going to be there. So you have to start blooding players from now.
Shift the mindset. We need to shift the mindset.
Needs to shift to Jamaica. We are the only country on the face of this earth that is believing that the young players are not ready to play international football. 16, 17-year-old are playing for clubs like Real Madrid.
But we tell you, we told them already, that it's only here in our neck of the hoods that we consider a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old to be a young player.
It doesn't work. And when you get to the discussion segment, it will come out that a 17-year-old would have signed for one of Europe's biggest club in Chelsea in terms of Richards. So let us just get past this.
We're going to touch on it. A lot left to come. So we're going to shift into a break quickly, and then we're going to come back now and go on to the international scene to look at the domestic leagues around the world and see what would have happened. We had some Champions League and some Europa League action as well, so stay with us.
Indeed.
And we'll be back in a minute to break down all of those. All right?
It's British representing for TTT Sports Roundup with your hosts, Saschin Collins and Zayous Hamilton. Tune in every Tuesday and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Na 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 na. All right then. Foot. Catch a fire. We just go turn up the pressure. Make the devil know say we there. We not laugh with the road. We a press better. Failure, no, we a bar winner. We just go create up a large hurricane in ya. See that? Yeah, we get the gold medal. Na.
Welcome back to TTT Radio Sports Roundup. And of course, we have the segment that we call Jamaica's Favorite. We're going to look at the domestic leagues around the world. And of course, no more special league than the EPL.
That is it.
And of course, Mr. Saschin is going to take us through the EPL and some domestic leagues around the world. It's eating up. The matches are coming quick and fast.
That is it.
We have quite a bit to talk about. Take it away, Sir Collins.
All right. So it was a very, very eventful week, and it continues to be over the weekend as well. It was a very, very eventful week, as we know, this was a Champions League and a Europa League week as well.
Indeed.
So a lot of football happening.
Football all around.
Week, right?
Football all around.
A lot of football with some big scores in the Champions League as well. Some somewhat
indeed.
Slowly disappointed scores in the Europa League, especially amongst the Arsenal faithful and so forth.
Oh goodness. I know that Arsenal faithful as you call them are really mourning.
Yes.
But
they were fighting on two fronts,
They were fighting on two fronts, and you saw that it meant a lot to Arteta.
Yes.
The players there were in it, and of course, it was a very plucky sporting team that they encountered. They could have beaten them, but of course, football is the way it is.
That's how goals win the game.
Matches, of course.
That's how.
And I don't particularly like penalty shootout, but
it's
a part of the game.
It is. Once it goes there, it's a dead man's draw. Anybody can pull it.
Indeed.
But we're in match day 28.
Yes.
We have 10 match weeks to go, so we get into the business end of the season. Right.
Entrenched in the business end of the season. Yes, man.
Definitely.
Of course.
The first match that would have taken place over this weekend, I guess it starts from Friday, would have been Forest against Newcastle. And I saw this game, and I'm telling you.
Yes.
I was saying it off here that the Premier League, our viewers, we are sleeping on the front line of
this Newcastle team. Yes, indeed.
We are sleeping on the front line of the threat that the Newcastle front line offers. I am telling you, these guys, they're not playing the football that Newcastle played a couple of years ago. No. There's a resurgence happening there.
Yeah, man. We would have said it, I think early in our program, we used to say that Newcastle, the team of the Premier League, and so forth. It was just a team of the Premier League. It was just racking up wins after wins. Right. And I went to a little bit of a lull, if you want to call it that.
Right.
Where they drew quite a bit of matches. I was looking at their results. I think they would have drawn about 10 or 11 matches.
They did, especially in the beginning of the season.
And I was saying that they didn't lose a lot of games, but, the back end, they started to lose some amount of games. Yeah, but they started to pick up again. You know what I mean? And of course, as you rightly said, that front three is so fluid.
Well, not even just the front three,
No.
Because regardless of who they play at the front, normally they use Wilson in the
at the head, right?
Right. And then you can use Isaac out wide, Saint Maximin out wide, Almiron out wide. And then behind them, you have Bruno, Joe Linton.
Yes,
I'm telling you, man. Trippier who overlaps so much. I'm telling you, this
what
squad
can we
is a
say
good
about
squad.
Trippier, though?
Trippier?
He's a man reborn.
But you know the thing is, Trippier never died. His career never died.
No, he never died.
Because I'll tell you this.
You're correct,
I am telling you this.
You're correct.
When Trippier left Tottenham, he was in good form.
Good form, yes.
He went to Atletico.
Yes, indeed.
Still in good form.
And he played very well.
Just that
as well. Yes.
He was out of the British media's eyes.
Of course.
But I tell you, anytime there's international duties,
they always call him up.
Southgate going for him.
Yeah, man.
He's going for him.
Yes.
I am telling you that.
Yeah,
so Trippier didn't really die, It's just that he was out of the British media.
Yes.
So coming back into the British media now, we're seeing some person might label it as a rebirth, but
he's not a rebirth.
He's been in the same form.
Yes, indeed.
But very, very good performance and solid leadership from him there as well. Newcastle, so they would have beaten Forest 2-1. One of my favorite players to watch right now, Alexander Isak, would have gotten 2 goals there.
Indeed.
Brentford would have drawn with Leicester. Brentford would have taken up a red card in that game as well.
Yes.
And to the match that have just concluded and would have done the Manchester United faithfuls a great pleasure to watch. Tottenham and Southampton.
Wow.
Drew 0-0. Well, not 0-0. Well, I wish it was 0-0, but it's not 0-0, my listeners and viewers. It's 3-3. Right? They would have drawn 3-3. Very, very good comeback from Southampton. They rallied a very, very good comeback.
Mr. Antonio Conte is going to lose all his hair.
His wig is going to fall off.
He's going to fall out. I'm telling you, this team is giving him no ends of problems.
I'm telling you. It was a good comeback performance from Southampton. Ward Price would have taken the penalty spot, would have taken a penalty kick, and would have tied up the game in the 90 seconds.
Ward Price is his money from the spot,
I'm telling you.
And it's anywhere around the 18 yard.
You can bank on him.
His money as well.
You can bank on him. I'm telling you, man.
Indeed,
one of the most lethal dead ball specialists I've seen in a long while.
That's correct, man.
In a very, very long while.
Anywhere in and around the 18 yard box
very,
or outside
lethal.
of 18, there he is totally lethal.
In England right now, and even in that English setup, I think he and maybe Trippier might be the two most lethal dead ball specialists right now.
I would agree with that.
I mean, Trent hits a moving ball better than he hits a dead ball to me.
That's correct.
Right. So I don't even think he compares. But these guys, very, very good with the dead ball.
Very good.
Another game that would have just concluded as well up on Sports Time would have been Villa and Bournemouth.
Yes.
And Villa is putting the beating down on Bournemouth, and I'm telling you. Bournemouth, their problem continues.
Listeners and viewers, I was saying to my co-host, listen, Man U would have lost 7-0 to Liverpool, and then Bournemouth beat Liverpool 1-0, and then come here, Aston Villa has now beat Bournemouth 3-0.
That is football at its best.
I'm telling you, jigsaw puzzle.
That is football at its best for you. It proves that the old saying of the ball is round could never be more correct. I'm telling you.
I tell you, I mean, this is one. It's kind of funny, but I tell you, this is how football is.
That is football.
Indeed.
Wolves and Leeds would have just ended their game at sport time as well. Leeds would have taken a much needed victory. And I tell you what, this was a 6-pointer for them, you know.
It was a 6-pointer.
Right, it was a
them.
6-pointer for both of them because they are neck and neck in the table. So Leeds would have taken the ascendancy over Wolves and they would have defeated them 4-2 in this match. Upcoming fixtures over the weekend, we are scheduled to have Chelsea versus Everton. The struggling Chelsea versus a much more struggling Everton. Right, so this match,
Yes,
I don't even know how to call this one. I guess we would have to see the lineup of this match before we can even call it. Another one to come is that Arsenal will be taking on Palace. Top of the table, Arsenal will be taking on Palace. And you were mentioning some updates earlier about Vieira. Just share some insight with us on that.
I came across an article that Vincent Kompany, of course, you know Vincent Kompany from Man City, former captain, and of course the coach of Burnley. And I'm telling that Burnley is looking to come into the Premier League.
If they're not already in.
If they're not already in, he's doing a fantastic job with them. And he's saying that he's very peeved of how his friend Vieira was given his marching orders, because he was saying that Vieira would have played all the top teams and probably would have played some of the top team twice. So they would have seen off what we would consider to be the top teams there in 1 through 5.
Right.
That is there, that will pose some problems. And what is coming up for them is the likes of a Nottingham Forest and those teams that are at the foot of the table. That is going to come. You see, look, another 3 or 4 fixtures that is coming up that is winnable fixtures for Crystal Palace. And then they choose to pull the trigger on him at this point in time. But what is kind of disappointing for me is how the news was communicated to the likes of Vieira. But I know that these guys are brutal, the owners. They called him at 7. And of course, people who follow the Premier League know that it's really training time at that point in time. So he was on his way to the training ground. And he got the call, say, he's fired. But the business of football,
it is.
It is a brutal business. But I tell you, teams panic when they recognize that they might be relegated from this league. There's so much money in this league.
Definitely.
The owners are going to panic.
And I agree with you that it's a business of football, but even more so, I still believe that if you don't use careful consideration within the business, you're gonna corrupt yourself. You're gonna destroy the business.
That is so true.
And for
it shows a lack of quality for the organization.
Right.
If this is the way that you operate, and I would have thought before that if I'm being totally honest with the Crystal Palace organization, that they would have been very, very patient up to this point with Vieira, because the results were definitely not coming.
Right.
But I'm just saying to myself, based on what is to come, I thought
you would want to hang in there.
I want to hang in there based on the fact that he would have brought a sense of professionalism to the team.
Right.
The guys would have played on them. There's no talk of him losing the dressing room or anything like that. That means that the players are solely on his side. So it is kind of really disappointing to say. But I've seen it all in this Premier League. I've seen, people dismissing people left, right, and center. So it's just one of them,
Just one of those things.
One of those things.
Just one of those things, right? So we're looking to see what's going to happen there. We don't know who's at the helm at Crystal Palace yet. I don't think it's decided yet.
I'm not even sure. No.
Right. So we're gonna hang on to see the outcome of all of that.
Yes.
As I am speaking to you now, I'm going to give you the update on the table. And as I am speaking to you, the structure of the table have shifted.
Well, yes.
It's have shifted because with the end of Tottenham match, Man U now moves back into 3rd position. I love the sound of that. Man U now moves back into 3rd position.
I'm sure you do.
Yes. As the table is structured now, we're just going to give you the table updates for the rest of the leagues around the world, and then we jump into the much anticipated Champions League and Europa League discussion. So Arsenal still leading the table. We have Man City on 61 points. Arsenal still have that 5-point gap there. We have Man U now on 50 points with a game in hand. That game is scheduled to be played over the weekend. And then we have Tottenham on 49 points. So that loss that Tottenham just had would have shifted the table a bit. Newcastle now would have moved up into their 5th position now on 47 points. Look to maintain their 5th position on 47 points.
Right behind Tottenham now.
Right behind Tottenham.
Yes.
So I'm telling you, I said it off here that I am almost certain that Newcastle will be playing European football this season.
Yes.
Almost certain they will. Well, this next season they will be playing European football.
Yeah.
Right?
you know, a lot of, well, I looked at the table, you know, I mean, in prior weeks when we did our choosing of the top team.
Right.
And I said at the time that I don't believe that Newcastle would finish in the top 4. I think the top 4 is how it is.
Yeah, it's pretty much
It's
decided.
pretty much is decided. I think it is there, but they can be shifting. I mean, a lot of games to be played.
Right.
Another 12 games to be played.
Right, right.
You know,
And the gap isn't far either.
No.
It's not far either. And with I think for Newcastle, you know, when we made that prediction,
Yeah.
I don't think they had all the players back that they have now.
Yes.
In the form that they do
That's correct.
now.
That's
so
correct.
with the Saint Maximan and the Isaac
Yes.
and the Joe Linton coming back and so forth, I think
Yes.
that kind of shift the dynamics a little bit.
Yeah, because they start picking up wins again.
Right. So that leeway is still there. It's still there. But
That's correct. That's
if I'm being
correct.
honest, I would still give Tottenham the edge for that 4th position. Primarily because of Conte. And Conte knows how to win.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
knows how to dig in and fight.
Yes, indeed.
Right. So I would give them the edge just for that purpose. But, you know, as we said earlier, the ball is round. So we're still going to hold on and see what will happen before we call it.
Indeed.
We're going to jump quickly over into the Bundesliga. You know, we're just going to give you some point standing in terms of table structure there. And
Yes, you know, I mean, some matches were played. Not a great amount of matches as was there as in a big highlight in terms of thing. Offenheim and Hertha Berlin, those are struggling teams.
Right.
Would have 3-1. Offenheim would have won this game. We have a big match coming up in terms of Dortmund versus Cologne, which is going to be played later on today. But outside of this match, the Bundesliga is, although it's a very close.
Very
Close league.
very
I mean, over the
close
years,
indeed.
I've seen that in terms of this league, because Bayern Munich usually will be the team that just runs away with this particular league, and maybe followed by a Dortmund and so in recent time. But it is very, very close. Bayern is on 52 points, and followed hotly by Dortmund on 50.
And I tell you what,
You know.
Dortmund have a game today.
Exactly.
If Dortmund win that game, then Dortmund leads the table.
That's correct. And that is how it is. And that also has been what has been the story of the Bundesliga. One match would have changed in the complexion of the table over the period of time. Of course, Leipzig, they are in third on 45 points. And of course, Union Berlin is also on 45. And Freiburg is also on 45. So I'm saying that it is
no leeway.
very, 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 very competitive. And RB Leipzig would have been hit for 7. I know that we're not speaking about the Champions League because just yet, but you know, I mean, their name came up, you know, and I can't speak about it because we're in this segment.
Right.
They were put to the sword by Erling Haaland this week. 5 goals.
Boy, I'm telling you. Well, I'm gonna hold it because I have a few things to say on that today, but I'm gonna hold it. But before I get there, let me just touch on the La Liga structure.
Yes,
for the La Liga.
Yes.
Things are shaping up now. The table is taking a familiar form. Now in terms of Barcelona leading the table on 65 points, Real Madrid close behind on 56, and Atletico Madrid coming in third in the table in 48 points. So they and Real Sociedad in 45.
That's correct.
Real Betis in fifth on 42 points. So we're seeing where the table is taking if the familiar structures, because in weeks prior we saw Villarreal and Real Betis up in about third and fourth. So we're seeing where the table taking that familiar structure that we're used to over the years, right? It continues to be a good season for Barcelona. It continues to be a very good season for them.
Very, very good for them. You know, I mean, I'm surprised that they're doing so well. I thought that Real Madrid would have been, you know, I mean, at top of the table, but Barcelona is getting the results,
right?
And it's a 9 points difference now. Is 3 games,
right? And
that is significant.
Remember, El Clasico comes up this weekend.
That is
well, I don't even want to call that a 6 pointer because the gap that is there is more. But so this is just for them to open the gap wider, or for Madrid to close that gap a bit smaller.
Exactly.
So La Liga heating up. We're gonna shift our focus now to the European competitions to give you some update on the Champions League and the Europa League, right?
That's right.
So Champions League, I am going to start with you on the Champions League because your team would have gotten some favor upon Dortmund. What do you want to say to us about that?
Well, to be honest with you, Chelsea has Champions League pedigree.
Yes, that is true.
I've said that thing there, not because I'm a Chelsea supporter, but if you look at our track record, we'd have competed in this competition 24 out of the last 25 seasons.
That is true.
So therefore,
we can't argue with that.
We have pedigree in the Champions League. And of course, I would have said it before that I thought that we would have won against Dortmund. You know, we played them very well in the first leg, although we lost that first leg 1-0. You know, Adeyemi scored, you know, a beautiful solo goal.
Right.
But I believe the chances that we got in that game should have really been out of sight in that first leg. So I had pretty much good confidence
That is true.
that we would have turned around this time, and so be it. I think we're fortunate in terms of the goals one of the goals that we got, but we'll take it at this level, and we ran out 2-0 winners. Good performance by the team, and Chelsea. There's almost like two Chelseas that are playing presently. Saschin.
Right, the Champions
The one
League
that
and
the Champions League and the
domestic
league.
one, yes.
The
True.
Champions League Chelsea is a more formidable team
Yes.
than
yes.
the one that is playing in the league.
Agree.
But I'm saying
Agree
that
with
the team are getting a little bit more, what should I say now, healthier,
you. Yes.
because I'm seeing news of N'Golo Kante now is gonna come back, and I'm really happy based on the draw that we're going to face at Real Madrid. I'm really happy that N'Golo Kante is coming back to play in that match, because we're not going to survive without somebody in that middle to kind of pick that
engine room.
in that engine room. So, you know, I mean, Chelsea did well against Dortmund, and you know, we got that victory. But it was a good performance all around.
Yes, I agree with you. I didn't see the match. I saw snippets of it, and
Yes.
I agree with what you said earlier, that the Chelsea that I saw in the Champions League isn't reminiscent of the Chelsea in the domestic
That's
league.
correct.
You know, so
That's correct.
I agree with you there.
That's
It
correct.
was a good win. It was a good win for them, and you know, I prefer the English teams, so I would love to see more English teams in the quarterfinals.
Yes,
So
yes.
that was good. PSG versus Bayern.
Mm.
No, I don't.
Oh boy.
For,
I'll leave it to this one, sir.
and you know,
Saschin.
I am not even going to spend a lot of time on
Yes.
it, because it was a defeat that I predicted.
Yes.
It was a defeat that I predicted. I don't
Oh,
know
well,
what when it comes down to PSG and the
another
Champions League.
disappointing result again.
I mean, you've invested
No,
so much.
man. I believe about alarm bells are really off, because these guys want to win the Champions League. They want to win the Champions League, but it just is not
It's just
happening.
not happening.
Not happening at all.
I don't know.
They
I don't
can't seem to get everybody fit at all at once. Somebody's gonna go down. Out of the big tree is gonna go
know.
down.
And when you even have them fit,
Oh goodness.
they
don't play. They don't play
that.
together. You don't get the
get
team.
it.
You don't get that team spirit. You don't get that team fluency in football.
You know what I realized?
Everybody's playing poorly, you know, including Donnarumma, who's a keeper, you know. He's playing poorly as well.
You know what I realized with PSG, especially that front three that you mentioned.
Yes.
Messi, Neymar, Mbappe
Yeah.
don't play well together.
They don't play well.
But I'll tell you this.
Yes.
Neymar and Mbappe play well together.
Together. Exactly.
Neymar and Messi
Play
play
well
well
together.
together. Messi and Mbappe plays well together.
Yes.
But put them together in a front three, then you have a problem.
Oh boy.
I mean, go and check the stats.
Yes.
Whenever
I'm baffled.
before Messi's arrival, Neymar and Mbappe was almost unstoppable together.
Yes.
When Messi came in,
Yes. The dynamics change.
and Neymar got injured, and he was just playing with Mbappe up front.
Yes.
The duo was reminiscent of Barcelona.
Yes.
And then Mbappe got injured,
Yes.
and then it was Neymar and next way around. Neymar got injured, and it was just Mbappe and Messi playing together now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very, very good combination up front. So for me, I just think it's the three that is the problem.
I tell you, I don't know.
I just think it's the three that is
I
the
saw
problem.
statistics. Whenever Neymar is not in that team, the team doesn't progress outside of the round of 16. They don't progress against. They've gone to a final. They've gone to a semi-final when he's there.
Right.
Whenever he goes down in that injury,
don't progress.
he doesn't progress apart or outside of the round of 16.
But you know, even with Neymar, you know, I'll give him credit, you know. But Neymar is going to go down in history as one of the biggest. Could have done it, should have done it.
Oh goodness!
One of the biggest.
I hear a sentiment coming. Is it a flop?
I would
flop?
not label him as a flop, you know, because this man have scored hundreds of goals, numerous accolades, numerous awards. I wouldn't consider him a flop, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you compare him to his price tag, you might lean in that direction.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, because in my generation, Neymar is the most technically gifted player I have seen in terms of skills on the ball.
Yes.
Right? Grace on the football, Lionel Messi. Right?
Yes.
Use of the football, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes.
Technicalities, Neymar. I haven't seen. I mean, I didn't see Ronaldinho in his prime. I heard Ronaldinho is better, but I didn't see Ronaldinho in his prime. I'm talking about players that I would have seen in their prime.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a 2015 or 2016 Neymar. Come on, man. Nothing compares in my time. You know.
Yeah, man. I understand.
I don't think...
That is fine. He's good. I wouldn't put him in Ronaldinho's class still.
Right.
I would have seen.
You would have seen Ronaldinho in his prime.
In his prime.
Right.
You know what I mean? But quality all around, just the same way. Why I say flop, and I really got at that, is on the basis of how he came into football.
Right.
And you want to call it
the hype that was
hype
built around him.
Fanfare.
The golden
but not
boy.
only the fanfare, no, he was doing the kind of things.
He was.
He's saying that he's not normal.
Remember, you remember a 17, 18-year-old Neymar at Santos,
No, man, he was
ripping big man apart.
Of course, man. Turning people inside out. So that is what I'm saying now. Based on how he started and came into football and his progression, it just seemed as if he became very stagnant in terms of going forward. I don't know.
I don't think the problem is with the football, though. I think the problem lies off the field. His focusedness, the party lifestyle. Neymar strikes me as a player who would do well in the MLS in LA, in Hollywood, those type of places. Like similar to a Paul Pogba or so forth.
He likes the lights.
Who is injured, by the way, for Juventus? I'm just putting that out there. Again, so he came off injured for about 2 weeks.
He hasn't kicked a ball for Juventus.
That man have not played 90 minutes since he resigned for Juventus. And he's injured again. No,
I don't know. The Juventus is totally fed up.
I heard they want to get him out.
No, they want to get him off the books, man.
They want to get him off the books because his wages are heavy.
His wages are very heavy, and he has not kicked up. But he has not supported the team in no way. And to be honest, there's some other thing about another thing that I see another player though, which is a former player of mine. I say former player, but he's still on our books. I understand that Inter is not going to renew their loan contract with Mr. Lukaku is coming back to Chelsea.
But this morning I was listening to Henry, and Henry was saying that he told Lukaku not to go back to Chelsea because of the type of game that Tuchel play with the high press. He said he told Lukaku at that time he was banging in them for Inter, man.
Yeah.
Right? So he said he told Lukaku stay in Inter, do not go back to Chelsea. And the move back to Chelsea would have derailed everything.
Well,
just some more updates. Let me give you some more quick updates.
Yes.
My team that I have called for the entire Champions League would have put it down on Frankfurt, Napoli.
Yes.
Victor Osimhen getting 2 there as well. Porto would have went down to Inter. Well, they drew with Inter, but because of the goal difference, Inter would have moved forward. Milan drew with Tottenham as well, but similar to because of the goal difference prior, they would have moved forward. Real Madrid 1-0. I don't even want to talk about this fixture.
Yes, indeed.
Real Madrid and Liverpool. I am bored with that fixture. I am genuinely bored with that fixture.
Moving right along.
But I guess the match of the round was Man City versus RB Leipzig. And I am telling you mentioned it earlier that they brought the belt, they brought the belt buckle, they brought the store that the belt was sold in. I'm telling you, they brought everything, man. They brought everything. I
believe that they surrendered. I never saw a team that surrendered so much like Leipzig. They didn't know what hit them.
I mean, listeners and viewers.
Yes.
How often do you hear a player being subbed off in the 64th minute of a match, and that player still managed to score 5 goals?
Goodness gracious.
I mean, I have only heard of Messi doing that one time in the Champions League. Outside of that, I have never heard that happening before.
I think Messi has a record of 6.
6, right.
And somebody was saying to me that Pep not easy because Pep don't want anybody to surpass Messi's record.
Because he could have gotten, I see where he could have gotten at least a clear 7 goals in this match. Clear 7 in this match.
He took him out. But I tell you,
I think it was more preventative maintenance doing.
This guy is a poacher.
He is.
Look at the goal. The goals are not special enough.
No, he just know where to be and when to be there.
Exactly.
He just know. And as a centre forward, as a number 9, you have to have that ability.
Yes.
You have to have that. Lewandowski is that way as well.
That's correct.
When you look at Lewandowski's goal, they are not goals to say tear off the roof of a stadium. Most of them are tap-ins or off the 18 or somewhere in and around the box there. It's just that he knows where to be. And what I am learning to appreciate with Haaland is that he learns how to read his teammates.
Yes, indeed.
When I watch this match, he moved off Kevin De Bruyne so well.
I'm telling you that anybody wants to stop Erling Haaland.
Stop Kevin De
Kevin
Bruyne.
De Bruyne.
That is it. It's
Yes.
as simple as that.
Yeah,
Forget
man.
Haaland. Just
Yeah, man.
stop De Bruyne.
De Bruyne. Yes.
But I don't even know how you're going to do that.
Why?
Because he has that long pass in his pocket so
Yeah, man.
well as well. If you play him out of the 18 or around the D there, he drops deep,
He
picks it up,
he can drop
pulls
that
you one
pass
diagonal and everybody
he
dead.
can drop that pass on a
Come
coin.
on, I'm telling you, man.
You know, we could go on in this section, you know, but we have to.
We're going to jump over to the Europa League. I remember Big Side in the Europa League
Yes,
as well.
yes,
you know.
yes.
Big Side is in the Europa League. So I'm going to start on a grieving note for Arsenal, who would have dropped out of the competition. They went down in penalties to Sporting, and Sporting would have pegged them 5-3 on penalties.
Yeah, boy.
So Arsenal would be out of the Europa League. Believe it or not, it's hard for me to say because, like I said, I tend to support the
English teams. Yeah, yes.
You know, I love to see the English teams. Another interesting one. I'm just going to give you the major matches. We have Juventus and Freiburg. Juventus 2-0 would have sent them to the quarterfinal. Man U and the Real Betis. Man U 1-0. A banger from Rashford would have sent them into the quarterfinals. Now, the fixtures for the quarterfinals for both the Champions League and the Europa League have been drawn. We see Freiburg taking on Roma. We see Juventus taking on Sporting. Leverkusen taking on Union Saint Golici. And then this one now, I'm telling you, see this one? Man U versus Sevilla.
Oh, goodness.
People might see this and think this is a war.
You played them the last 4 matches, you have won 3.
Europa League belongs to Sevilla.
Yes, indeed. I
The
agree.
Europa League belongs to Sevilla.
No,
It's just like how the Champions League belongs to Real Madrid.
Yes.
Europa League
They have
belongs
such a
to
rich.
Sevilla.
They have such a rich history in this competition.
Without a doubt.
Mhm.
Without a doubt. So it's a match that I am very fearful for my viewers and listeners, because I know that in recent times, I think the last finals of the Europa that we played was against Sevilla.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where we had 13 penalties, and they have skied one somewhere in the lunar system somewhere there above. Right, so it's a match that I am not sitting comfortable with, because I know how Sevilla have been haunting us.
They've been good, you know what I
English
mean?
teams
They've been good
over the years, right? But some interesting matches to come up. Champions League matches have been drawn as well. Some interesting fixtures there to come. So just stay with us and stay with these leagues as well, you know, as we seek to bring you all the updates, all the highlight, and everything happening in the world of football, all right?
Indeed.
So let's stick and stay with us for a discussion segment in a few minutes.
You know, it's Expedition representing for TTT Radio. We are pairing overseas, and together we transform lives. I say life is all about Christ. It's all about walking with the Most High each and every moment and daytime. Not partying like a fool or having a tattoo or in a bad crew. Demonstrate you with TTT Radio. We are pairing overseas, and together we transform lives.
Welcome back to TTT Radio Sports Roundup. And of course, we're into our discussion segment, you know what I mean? A segment that we love so much, you know what I mean? When we bring you what I consider to be the feel-good moments.
Yes.
You know, sometimes we go through some things and there are some difficult things to discuss, but we like to end the program on a positive note.
Which is right.
And what more positive note to end the program on than our own Dujuan Richards, the Whisper. You know what I mean? Has signed a contract with none other than Chelsea Football Club in the southeast or the southwest of London. You know what I mean? And we are so excited here on the TTT Radio Sports Roundup for this tremendous act. You know what I mean? This thing is, you know what I mean? I feel so proud to know that somebody would have left, you know, because we give our Manning Cup a bit of beating and said, boy, this Manning Cup is not where it is at. But this is a talent, you know what I mean? Of course, Mr. Butler will have his own argument to say that it is at Phoenix and so forth. But it's someone that has been developed and is at a particular age, leaving from our schoolboy football that is going directly to a club in England. And it is something to be commended.
It is. And like you said, credits might be dispensed in different directions.
Yes,
but for me personally, that's not important.
Yes,
for me.
yes.
That's not important
Yes.
for me. But the transfer
Yes.
of Dujuan shows credit to something that we rose here on the program some weeks back.
Yes.
When we're looking at the likes of Alex Marshall and
Yes,
Lamar
yes,
Walker,
yes.
Kesanya Hall, Jordan Fletcher, all of those prodigies that came out of football.
Right.
Schoolboy football. I am going to be a brave man and say this, viewers and listeners.
Yes.
Dujuan Whisper Richards
Yes.
is very good.
Excellent.
Arguably the best schoolboy talent I have seen in my lifetime.
Yes.
You mentioned the Black Pearl and so
Yes,
forth.
yes.
I didn't see those persons.
Yes.
So in my lifetime, he is the best that I have seen.
Yes.
Attacking talent, that is.
Yes.
Right? And I mean, even peeping the likes of Junior Flemings and all of those.
All of those guys, yes.
But I tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
The gap between a Dujuan Whisper Richards and between a Junior Flemings, a Lamar Walker, Kesanya Hall, Jordan Fletcher, Alex Marshall, you name it.
Yes.
It's not wide.
Very, very small.
It is not a big gap.
Yes, indeed.
It is not a big gap.
Yes.
And I am telling you that with the right management, we championed it earlier. We championed it earlier. And in some earlier weeks on the program that if these players get the right management
yes.
and the right structures around them,
of course.
they could have easily
transition
to where Whisper is, or if not to a similar position to where
that
Whisper
is. So
is.
correct.
It could have been done. It is possibly these players coming out of the schoolboy. Talent is not their problem. Management is.
Yes.
Management is to seek out the proper opportunities.
That is so correct.
And as we speak about the proper opportunities, a lot of things have been said in the media regarding Whisper should he have taken the opportunities. I don't know. What do you have to say?
To be honest with you, I hear the naysayers, and the naysayers are always evident. They are always around. Having negative to add.
Always.
And I'm saying to you, something as positive as this has happened, you're gonna go down. And I think what is happening now, we said it in an offset, where you said that persons are washing Mr. Butler's image over the youngster.
Yes.
And I'm just saying, listeners and viewers, please don't do that. Give this youngster time to breathe,
definitely,
and to grow and to develop
without the shadow of anyone over
shadow of a Craig Butler hanging over him.
Right.
We understand the stigma. We understand the kind of individual that he is, and we applaud him for what he has done in the likes of Whisper and others
to come.
But I'm saying that the negativity that surrounds Craig Butler, don't use that to judge this youngster. Pray for him, man.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Pray for him and encourage him and say that he's going to be one of the talent that's going to come out that make all Jamaica proud.
Right.
Not one set of Jamaicans. All Jamaica proud.
Jamaicans.
So therefore, just fall behind the youngster. Don't criticize him, say he's not going to make it and so forth and so on. He's going to fail. Listen, let us not have that on our lips. Let us not have that on our lips.
Yes.
Encourage the youngster and make other persons looking on. You can imagine what this has done to other aspiring young footballers.
Come on, man.
This has opened a door
to show them what's possible.
To show what is possible.
To show them what's
possible.
What I mean?
And of course, I hear the money that is little over £1 million.
Come on.
And if you get your calculators, that is not anything to smile about.
And remember that with these contracts, they are continuous.
That is correct.
They are continuous. So as he grows, as he develops,
he's going to
dividends return.
That's correct.
And even if he transfers outside of Chelsea.
Listen to me, man.
Come on.
Listen to me. This is good. Good stuff for Jamaicans. And we should really fall behind.
Amen to that.
Mr. Whisper.
Amen to
Dujuan Richards. And I think we can leave it on there on a positive note.
Right.
So listen, fall behind the youngster.
Support him.
Support him, man.
I mean, we here at TTT Sports, we definitely support him. We definitely stand by the youngster.
I wish him all the best, man. We wish him all the best. And let us just read the reports. And we bring the reports here.
Right.
On the TTT Radio Sports Roundup. And we're going to leave it right here for this week, And of course, we'll be back next week with some exhilarating program.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? To discuss and talk through discussion. Have a good weekend. See you then.
All right.